until I can purchase something larger that I can really, build kind of my on-water base camp. This boat for me will be the beginning. I'd almost give it that name. I might actually name this boat the beginning.
Hi, my name is Peter. I'm 22 years old, and for the past 8 years, I've been living on the road and off the grid with my family, documenting our journey on our YouTube, the Epic Family Road Trip. Today, I'm sharing my adventures on my own channel, The Adventure Guys. My dream is to show you the remote places of the world by land, air, and sea, and to one day buy some land and build a homestead. Well, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This week I've got a couple of projects on the go. Number one is importing mine and Dan's KTM 690s into Canada. The bikes are currently in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. I'm working with the brokerage company to get them across soon, but there's a lot of paperwork. So hopefully we'll have them here soon, but that's a work in progress right now. But a few days ago, I was helping Dan clean up around his cabin.
It might be a good practice boat of some kind if it's Is that a float plane? Is it landing here?
There are some old sailboats that have been laying out there for years. They are slated to go to the dump next time we take a barge load off the island. But in the back of my mind, I've always wondered if at least one of them could be restored.
1, 2, 3. Sharp edge.
Sailing is a skill I've always wanted to learn, and a small craft like this would be a perfect boat to practice on. I'm sure a lot of the rigging is missing and repairs will be required, but who knows? If sailing is ever in my future, this whole experience will be a great learning opportunity.
Pretty solid, not the most solid. I'll be careful, huh?
Let's go see what we have.
Seems a little dirty, but nothing too obviously bad.
This is neat. And I've been looking at the bottom of this thing, like I said, since I was a kid. It's just been sitting out.
I'm thinking to clean off the top, just get an idea of what the top looks like, since this has been what's, for most of its life up here, it was sitting upright. As you can see, there's like a ton of pine needles kind of baked into it. There's moss on whatever this thing is in the cockpit area of this, and just a ton of dirt. This whole thing is green, so I'm gonna probably get some borax and like a scrubber. I want to look around it a bit though and find markings. Oh, okay, on here on the back there's like a serial code or something, ZFS 86544M. I'm sure that's what that's there for, is to trace the the boat's make and model and maybe the year it was made and all that, and then I can see where to acquire all the pieces for it, because right now I've got a dinghy or a sailboat with nothing. Got the hull of a boat, which is a good start. So I got a bit of information on lasers now. I downloaded this, which I don't even know if it's to this particular boat, but it's a laser dinghy diagram. It looks very similar to this boat. It might be a newer version, but it at least shows everything I do not have, like everything, masts and main sheet blocks and booms and sails and pretty much everything, except for I seem to have like some grab rails. There's probably a proper name for it. I think this rope, which is covered in moss in here, or this strap, is a hiking strap. It's like from pictures. I've seen pictures of people in lasers going like 16 knots, and they're just laying out on the side of the vessel, like over the water, hanging onto a rope and stuff, controlling it. It looks amazing. This thing is looking like it's gonna be more and more fun the more I delve into it. But this diagram is helpful at least to see what I do not have and to start looking up those things to try to source them and bring them here. I'm hoping that the parts aren't too expensive for an older one like this so that I can get it running, but man, they look amazing. Like I said, people go fast in these. They have a lot of fun in them. I hope this is something I can begin with. It seemed like a lot of people begin with boats of this size, maybe with lasers in general. They seem to be a good beginner and all the way to expert level dinghies. In its current condition, I mean, to me it just looks dirty and missing hardware, nothing much more than that. But I also looked up what would be a good way to clean the top of this vessel without using, you know, chemicals or anything, because we're right beside the lake. You can probably see it behind me. I'd rather not use like chlorine or bleach or anything to make this thing white again, but something I saw was borax actually works pretty well with the scrubber. So I'll use borax. That's a lot safer for the lake, and see if I can't scrape this up. So that'll be the first step to repairing this dinghy. So yeah, I've got borax gloves and some pretty heavy duty, I think this is a deck brush, and then just a big heavy duty nylon brush. Try to get into all these grooves because it looks like the surface of this was made to be a little bit grippy, probably for your body moving around it. Like I said in those videos, it's quite incredible. Or anyone familiar with sailing on anything like this, the amount of movement involved with this sport looks like a lot of fun and a lot of work, but it's definitely involved, and maybe a grip like this would really come in handy. What it's doing right now is holding in all this dirt. You know, I can't even, I mean, it kind of dusts off, but then all that stuff's deeply in there. So hopefully the borax will lift that. But I really just wanted to walk this thing around just to show a bit of a before and after for if I can get this thing clean. I mean, look at that. I think, yeah, that hiking strap is got moss growing on it, so that'll probably have to be replaced. But just look at the dirt on here, like algae growing on here. Definitely on the hull as well, and you saw the cracks in, oh yeah, there we go. That looks like the primary crack that I'll have to worry about. It isn't a full hole, but I can see fiberglass under there. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. I think my preference is to restore something than just go the easy route and buy something with all the fixings already on it. So yeah, I'm gonna get to cleaning now. Actually doing a good job of getting this stuff out. It is dirty though, so I'll probably have to do this a couple of times. Look at that. Wow, that's amazing. Green slime coming up there. These are very, very, very white compared to. Put a bit of this to soak in on the back. That is crazy. That gives me a lot of hope for cleaning this thing up. That's bright white in comparison to what it was. There's a ways to go to make it look like it's brand new, of course, but like I said, that's not even my intention. I just want to make this thing float and be able to practice sailing on it. But that's some easy progress right there. Look at this. Just a quick scrub, and that's the difference. Huh?
It's a beauty.
Yeah.
Even with a quick scrub, this is a pretty obvious before and after. I haven't even started on the front end of the boat or the middle, of course, but just look at that, the right side compared to the left. It's a scrub with a floor brush, some borax. It's looking 100 years younger already.
This is cool. Get that laser sign kind of cleaned up. I'm gonna be careful though not to remove it by accident. Might use something else right on the sign itself, but this is just strong enough for us to really get this stuff out of here. So as I've been doing this, and it's taken a while, I've been making plans for tomorrow, which I'll have the top a basic clean. Like it already looks way better. It could be even cleaner as I work on it over the coming weeks. But my plan for tomorrow is to go into town, get some more supplies. I've been reading up on some, boat experts, especially within the laser. There's apparently quite a few people who restore these things, maybe as a hobby or just to use them. But they have certain methods of carefully, sanding and cleaning the bottom. The gel coat, I believe that's what it's called. The gel coat on the bottom of a boat is a bit of a process to actually do and replace and make smooth and fast, because you can if you just willy-nilly sand down the bottom of a boat, you can either make it unseaworthy or just really ruin it. You can wreck the speed, which isn't something I'm too concerned with. I'm not a racer, so I'm not worried about like micro changes to the speed of the boat, but I'd like to do the best job I can with my current skill levels. So been reading a lot on that. I'll be heading into town tomorrow to pick up some supplies, and we'll keep working away at the boat.
Look at the difference that makes though, eh?
Wow. That is a really cool thing to see, something coming back to life like this. I can easily see that you could spend half a day scrubbing this thing to get it much better. There's probably some, like I said, lake safe, but maybe a more powerful concoction to make cleaners for getting this top stuff, because there's some serious stickiness up in here, like glue and saps and stuff. I might just have to work away at it as I do this project to make it really shine again, but it is seriously different. Everything but the cockpit area, or whatever you call that. I'm gonna work on that while gnats are out biting. I'm gonna work on that after I've got the hull cleaned up on the other side, once I flip it over. And I'll probably take it on the ground and then somewhere safe enough, or at least lower than where it is currently, so I could really scrub it and take the drain hole out of the bottom. I don't think there's actually a plug. That's another thing I have to find eventually, but let the water drain out of the bottom as I'm working on it. So I'll find a way to do that, probably after the haul, like I said. So yeah, my head's already full of ideas with this. I've got a bit more research to do to make sure I get maximize tomorrow's trip to the stores. I'm gonna hopefully find a store specifically for boats and nautical things, where I can maybe find that gel coat paint. Hopefully it's white like what this boat originally was. If not, maybe blue or something else to do the bottom with. And yeah, I'll get everything I can tomorrow to make this thing really shine. So today, made it into town and took a bit of looking around, but found some stores that had what I was looking for the basic restoration of this laser hull boat. I was also able to talk to someone and get some advice on like what I should actually set out to do. First of all, to learn how to sail, but then also to make this boat just usable. I really am excited to, you know, get this cleaned up, get it to where it looks better and any damages are fixed up, but get it in the water. So with some good advice, he basically just was saying, use super fine grit sandpaper on the bottom of the hull, because the gel coat, that is like a very protective coating on the bottom of the boat, most likely has like little hairline fractures, among other things, which is definitely what we saw yesterday, those tiny little hairline fractures in it. That I believe is called crazing, and generally that is something you would want to fix, but it doesn't damage the structural integrity of the hull of your boat. And then next steps are to start sourcing pieces, and that'll include checking out the boathouse off to my left here and hopefully finding something for the boat that was left behind that I can keep, and then I'll start from there looking for what parts I'm missing.
Yeah, it's nice to get a look at the bottom, kind of get an idea of what I'll be doing with my sanding and polishing. Like I said, the main goal will be just to kind of fix it up, make it look a little bit better, but not to really repair stuff like this. Like there's chips in the gel coat. I might put that bonding agent on there and sand it down, but overall it's definitely more than okay for a beginner like me to learn on. Stuff like this might affect a racer's speed slightly where they would care, but it looks like it's obviously structurally sound. The bottom of this hull is fine. With the exposed, like where the gel coat has completely chipped out, I'll use that bonding agent, like I said, to fill it in once I've cleaned the bottom thoroughly and sanded this down a bit. Prep the surface to cover over the fiberglass and give it just a bit more strength there. But overall, I'm very happy actually with the condition of the bottom of this boat.
Sandy, always told it, they say. And when you're done, what happens? Start over again, they say. Clean it up, sand it down, buff it off. Keep you busy, lad. No time for mischief.
Alright. Well, the hull looks decent with the cleanup. I can see a lot more of, you know, what's going on here, and like what was expected, there's some scrapes and dings in the gel coat, nothing too serious. On the bottom here is a bit of exposed fiberglass. I'm gonna sand stuff like this, that other crack in the gel coat, and other things like this. I'll sand it and get it really clean and scuffed up, a good surface to work on with that 3M bonding agent that's designed for repairing gel coat related things. But I don't want to do too much because like I said, I'm not racing this thing, and nor am I making a museum piece. I'm just going to make it better than how I found it and polish it up basically, so that I can learn how to sail with it over the next few weeks or months until I can purchase something larger that I can really build kind of my on-water base camp and start adventuring with. So this is the this boat for me will be the beginning. I'd almost give it that name. I might actually name this boat the beginning, just because it'll be the first boat that I start my sailing journey with. Now comes the fun but long job of sanding this down. And like I said, I got sandpaper from 600 all the way up to 3,000, I believe, and I might use the 600 or 400 sandpaper on this exposed fiberglass to really just kind of scuff it up, but not go too far, because you don't want to really mess with the fiberglass of the hull. Just scuff it, make sure it's clean, put that stuff on there, sand it flat so that it's at least level with the rest of the gel coat as best I can, and then overall give the whole boat a polish without removing too much paint, just kind of getting those crazing lines a little bit worn down, and then fill them in with that nicer like wax protectant polish stuff I'll be putting on the bottom of the boat.
After a good day's work, both Dan and I were getting hungry, so we decided to make some ramen.
It was a good couple of days working on the sailboat. It's looking a lot better. The hull is smooth. I've got it, not roughly sanded down, but the first pass of sandpaper, like 600 to 800 grit, is just what I did, like one pass over it. It's looking a whole lot better than when we started out, looking at that, mossy boat sitting on its side. It's been sitting there for years, and now it's at least getting a bit of the love it deserves. So as the soup's cooking inside, we're just gonna kind of enjoy the sunset, and I really look forward to the coming weeks on getting on the water, getting the bikes from the US. They're just sitting in right now they're just sitting in a storage container. It's just waiting to be imported, which is happening soon, which is super exciting. So I'm looking forward to a whole lot of fun stuff coming up soon. A whole lot of training, both on the bikes and definitely on the sailboats, to completely learn that whole new skill and start, hopefully, in the coming months, I can see living on the water being a possibility, which is something I really look forward to.
Whale instead of buffalo. Then Daggoo, who got his boldness and majesty and grace from having killed a lion single-handed.